Hi Prabha, how are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. Thank you for asking. Please speak a bit louder. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you tell us something about yourself?
Yes, sir. Firstly, thank you for giving me the opportunity for introducing myself. My name is Channu Bhuvanaprabha. I am from Bhimavaram, Andhra Pradesh. Currently, I am living in Pune. I completed my master's in 2019 from SRK Engineering College, Bhimavaram.
Mhm.
During my academics, apart from studies, I used to write exams for blind students. I used to work for an NGO,
Oh,
and
wow.
I continued this after my studies also. So,
Mhm.
and
Very nice.
my fa- my father was a retired panchayat secretary. My
Mhm.
mother was a homemaker. My younger sister was she's preparing for civils examinations.
Mhm. Okay, okay, great.
Thank you.
Right. So you are a fresher, right?
Yes.
So why are you looking for a job in the software testing field?
Why? Because I started. Firstly, main reason was that when I started this course, I liked it, and it really excited me. I mean, I got interested in this testing.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. So when this question is asked to you, in a real-time interview, so what you have to answer is that I have a lot of passion for the new softwares, whichever softwares that are being launched in the market, I'm using them. So what you should do actually before giving the interview, you should see which all new softwares, which all new applications have come up live in the market, right? Because the next question of the interview will be, which are the new applications that you have recently used, right? So those kind of things they will ask you, then you can tell that you are having a lot of passion, a lot of curiosity for software, and you are passionate about doing testing, right? And testing is not just about breaking the bugs, breaking the
Mm.
application, finding the bugs, but is also about to test whether it is working properly or not, right? So those things you have to tell, right? Then you can also tell you have got good analytical skill set so that you can make a career in testing field, right? So these are all the things. Then you are looking for a job in the, you know this IT industry, because it always helps you to, and it always gives you an opportunity to learn something new, right? So these kind of things you have to tell. Okay, now let me share my screen. I'm giving you one scenario.
Mm.
Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you need to write the test scenarios for an application, right?
Mm.
And there is one batch file in that, and it holds the data in the format of first product number, discount number, date,
Mm.
date on which the discount come into play. So there will be two fields basically. Sorry,
Mm.
three fields will be there. One is product number, what is the product? Then is
Mm.
discount number, right?
Mm.
And then is the date, the respective date on which the discount come into the picture or got active,
Okay.
right? So can you tell me the high level test scenarios for this?
Okay, high level test scenarios. First, we will check whether all the fields correctly are correctly displayed or not,
Mm-hmm.
and we will check the product numbers and discount number for each product, and we also will check the date.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, what else we can check is yes, so
Okay. Anything else?
we'll check the data format also.
Date format.
Date format and data format, whether the data was taking product number might be int
Mhm.
varchar.
Okay, okay,
What?
okay. So
Uh,
few other test scenarios that you can tell over here is
uh,
C. Test scenarios related constraints applicable on each column of the batch file. So this is a batch file, right? So various
yes,
columns we have. So what are the different constraints? For example,
constraints.
related to product number, date, discount number, there might be that it can only accept the numeric number, numeric
Yes,
digits. If you enter alphanumeric or if you enter special characters, so those would be counted as invalid. So some validation message should come. Then we
yes,
discussed about date formats, right? Then
yes,
then there is a scenario like date column cannot hold the data value less than the current date, right? So that
yes,
test scenario also you can keep. Then related to the size of the batch file also you can keep, right? Related to the type of file also you can keep. Then you can also do volume testing, like subjecting the application to heavy volumes of data. You can try entering lots and lots of data, and then you can see whether that file is able to handle that much of data or not.
hmm,
And whichever blank space, white space are there, null values are there, right? Then what would happen if you keep the file empty,
hmm,
right? So those kind of scenarios you
yes.
can test over here. Yeah. Okay. Now consider a scenario where you have a use case where customer is buying a book with a credit card payment option, right? Now, can you tell me the high level test scenarios? How will you test this particular use case?
For credit card payment, you're
Yes,
asking.
yes. For credit
Mm.
card payment option, he or she is trying to purchase a book and he is using a credit card as a payment option.
Okay, first we'll check whether it is the valid credit card or not,
Okay.
and we will check the amount bank balance is sufficient or not, whether the message was getting to the customer or not.
Mm.
After the payment was done, the detected message was also to be uh, I mean, the customer should receive that message. We will also check that message, and yes, so maybe.
Then what else?
Mm. We will check the validity of the credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Um, mm, OTP, OTP that we'll get in the
Okay.
in correct time or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, OTP. Yes, sir.
That's it.
Mm.
Okay, fine, no issues. So first of all, you will test the happy part. That is, you will purchase the item in the cart with a proper amount and quantity details. Then the checkout process, right? For
Yes.
example, redirection to the payment screen with the proper checkout details. Then uh, the item which you are going to purchase or you have purchased, that should be logged for purchase by others, right? So this is the checkout process. Then what would happen at the payment screen? So what you will do is you would validate if the user is able to choose the credit card section and select appropriate card type, right? So whichever card type you select, for example, you select Axis Bank, so all those card types should get displayed, but whichever one option you select, so that should get displayed. Then validation of credit card details entered, right? Let's say if they ask you to instead of selecting credit card, if they ask you to enter the credit card number, right? So what would happen if you enter the number of characters more in the particular text box compared to what needs to be entered, right? Then negative test cases you can test, like with fake credit card details, right? Then once you enter the credit card properly and all those things, then payment gateway redirection should happen, right? Then whether the session is secured or not, the payment gateway and the credit card bank gateway, that particular session is secured or not, then credit card bank authentication screen, then OTP you mentioned, then invalid credentials if you enter, then it should abort the transaction, right? Then if you see from the API perspective, then from the API perspective, the transaction should return success response, maybe 200, or you can say 302 to the payment gateway, right? Then email and SMS should be sent for the above purpose, right? For example, we have done a transaction of 3,000 rupees, so you should get some proper email and mobile on, and a proper message should also come on the mobile that this particular XYZ item has been purchased, right? Then if you look into the history after purchasing, after the transaction, so that item should get listed over there. Also, the item that you have purchased, so that count should get decreased from the database as well, right? So this is how you can tell the test scenarios. Okay. What is unique key and what is foreign key?
Unique key is the key through which that we can identify the row in
Hmm.
the table. Foreign key, we can say that it is a referential key. This key will refer to another key in the parent table, primary key in the parent table.
Okay, okay. So a unique key is generally, it is a unique key constraint is nothing but it is used to uniquely identify each record in the database, right? While a foreign key is one table which can be related to the primary key of another table, right? Relationship needs to be created between the two tables by referencing foreign key with the primary key of another table. Now, what is a what is a database relationship and which are the types of database relationship?
Database relation.
Hmm.
I don't know, sir.
Okay, no worries. See, this is a mock interview. Even if you don't know the answer of the question, that is absolutely fine.
Oh.
See, there are actually four database relationships, right? Database relationship is what? It is actually the connection between the tables in the database, right? And the relationships are as, one-to-one relationship is there, then one-to-many relationship is there, many-to-one relationship, self-referencing relationship is there, right? So these are the types of database relationships. Now, what is stored procedure in SQL?
Stored procedure, we can, now instead of writing the SQLs repeatedly, we can call them.
Mm-hmm.
We can store them and we can use them whenever we can.
Mm-hmm.
It's called stored procedure, yes, sir.
Okay. So stored procedure is nothing but it's a function which will consist of many SQL statements to access the database system, right? So you can say various SQL statements are consolidated into a single stored procedure and they will execute them in a bulk whenever and wherever it is required. Okay. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of stored procedure?
Advantages mean is like we cannot, we not need to write the SQL queries repeatedly. We can store them and we can use them whenever we want. Disadvantage is that there would be only that queries that we already stored them. For the new one, we have to write that queries.
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay. See, the the very good thing about the stored procedure is it can be used as a modular programming. That means you will create it once, you will store and call for several times whenever required, right? So this is like a faster execution. The execution speed execution is increased, right? But the disadvantage is, as you know, a lot of calls are executing at one single time in the database. So the memory consumption will increase, right? So it will utilize more memory in the database server. Okay. Now, what are aggregate and scalar functions in SQL?
Aggregate functions are we can use on numbers like max of, minimum of, length, count of. These are all aggregate functions.
Yeah. Can you please
Scalar.
keep your mic bit closer?
Okay.
Yeah. 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 Now, what can you please repeat? What are aggregate functions? And what are scalar functions?
Aggregate functions are used to return the single value from the group of records.
Okay.
Whereas scalar function we can use on the single record. We
Okay.
cannot use on the number of rows.
Okay. Fine. So let this be an open question for the people who are watching this video. What are aggregate and what are scalar functions in SQL? Okay. Now, Prabha, what is the difference between smoke testing and sanity testing?
Mm. Smoke testing, sanity testing is generally we do sanity testing whenever the build we receive. We generally check the stability in sanity testing, whereas in smoke testing, we'll do the overall testing, end-to-end testing, but not in depth. It We
Mhm.
can also say that it is a narrow end-to-end depth, end-to-end testing.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other difference apart from this?
In smoke testing, the build must be stable,
Mhm.
whereas we check the stability. For stability of the build, we do the sanity testing. After sanity testing, we'll conduct smoke testing.
Mhm.
Yes.
After sanity testing, you will conduct smoke testing?
Uh,
Are you sure?
yes, sir.
Mhm. First
Sanity
of all, when you, yes,
in
yes, you're
sanity
telling
testing,
something?
we'll check the stability of the build in sanity testing.
No. See, in smoke testing, what you will do is you will validate, you will test the critical functionalities of the application are working fine or not, right? Sanity testing is done to check the new functionality or the bugs that have been fixed, right? Now, the objective of the smoke testing is to verify the stability of the system in order to proceed further with the rigorous testing, whether you should go with the rigorous testing or not. So that is the initial level, you can say general health checkup. That is smoke testing. While sanity testing is specialized health checkup. Okay. So in order to go for sanity testing, first you will perform smoke testing, like the basic functionality are working fine or not. If they are working fine, then you will go for sanity testing. Okay. Then you can also tell smoke testing can be done by developers as well. You know, if testers are not available, they can do some crude operations and they can test. While sanity testing is done only by testers, right? Then smoke testing is a subset of acceptance testing, while sanity testing is a subset of regression testing.
Testing.
Okay. So this is how you can tell. Okay. Now let's say you have to test a coffee cup. Okay. Can you tell me the high level test scenarios for how will you test a coffee cup or how will you test the handle of a coffee cup? So all the things. And how would you do the compatibility testing in this case?
Okay. Coffee cup. First, we'll check whether it looks good or not. Then we'll check the length and dimensions are as per the uh, document or not. Then we will check whether it is able to handle the coffee or any water or anything that we pour on it, that it is holding or not. Then we'll check that we can place that handle in some holder place, whether it is holding there or not. Coffee mug. Mm. Whether we pour hot coffee, how much time it can sustain the heat coffee in that, how much time it takes to become cold. um, Again, in the configuration testing means we can also pour hot water in that, and we can also test the time and we can compare them. um, Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now you are asked the questions of the coffee cup as well as the handle, right?
Mm.
So first of all, let us see what you can provide the test scenarios for a cup. Like you
Mm.
can test like how much temperature the cup can withstand. The interior color, like if it is black, then absorption of the heat energy is there. So coffee will become cold readily, right? So interior color you will test and you will suggest the changes. Shape of the cup, right? If it is circular, then while drinking, it will be helpful. It will not spill out. Other shape like squares or such kind of shapes, it may result in spilling, right? Then weight of the coffee cup, like optimum according to its capacity, how much it can withstand, right? Then um, now you can also tell the test scenarios with respect to handle, right? For example, the handle should not be too thin or not too thick, right? Because when you will be holding it from it will be into your hand, right? So equilibrium is maintained, right? So it should be handy in short. Then gap in the handle should be optimum. Then curvature of the handle should be curved. It should not be square so that you are able to hold it tightly, right? Then you can, with respect to coffee cup again, you can pour very hot water and coffee and check whether it can withstand very high temperature or not. Then you can validate with respect to cold ice, right? Then you can check whether it can withstand the minimum or the cold temperature, right? Then you can check the leakage is there in the coffee cup or not. Then you can also test whether you throw it from a reasonable or from a more height. Then you can validate whether it breaks or not, right? So these kind of test scenarios you can test, right, with respect to coffee cup. Okay. What is severity?
Severity is uh, it describes the effect of the bug, how severe that it affects the functionality of the application.
Mhm. Okay, severity. Can you give me an example of a bug with high severity?
Uh, High severity when login page is not working.
Hmm. So that is a high severity bug.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Fine. Okay, Prabha, I am done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabha. It was nice talking to you and all the best for your career.
Thank
Thank you.